Hey, 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 it's Tia, baby. And I'm back with another video. So I have seen the interview that Chris Perez did with a Selena impersonator, the same woman that I've done, I believe, 2 videos about, where she reenacted, well, no, it's not even allegedly, she did reenacted the death scene of Selena on her IG, and she had erased it months later, deleted it months later. And I gave my opinion about it. Go check that out. It was a couple of years ago. I think it was last year when I did it. And then she, not recently, but months ago, she posed with the Quintanilla family at a restaurant, I believe. So I did a brief synopsis about that. Now, my opinion or my feelings about that interview that he did with her, meeting her. A lot of people are saying that he felt uncomfortable, that he met her, and that he looked uncomfortable. In my opinion, Chris always looks like he looks uncomfortable. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just think that he's just timid. He's very shy. He even said that he's very private and he doesn't talk much. So I think in my opinion, because I'm one that has social anxiety. So I may see a person that I know, but I will walk the other way just to avoid them. And not to be rude, it's just that I have social anxiety. So I get nervous because I don't like to speak first. And it's just hard. I'm very much an introvert, even though I'm doing YouTube, but that's because I'm not speaking in front of a live audience, so it's easier. But it took some time for me to get used to this because I was very nervous. But I don't talk much when I'm in person, and it really takes me a long time to get used to a person and for them to see all the sides of me. So I grew up being very shy, so I can identify with that. That's what he comes off as. He may not be really that, but that's what he comes off as. So I don't think that he was uncomfortable with meeting her, because I think he really enjoyed meeting, people that dress up like Selena and all of that. Now, he may have gotten a taken back look because she kind of resembles her in a way, but I mean, just in a way, she don't really look like her 100%, because of course she is very tall. And then I didn't even know her voice was that deep, to be honest. I didn't know that. But, I think he was regular. I think he was just nervous, period, being on camera, being in front of everybody and seeing her and all of that. And, probably thinking about what are people going to say when they see me, posing with a Selena impersonator. So he probably had all sorts of emotions or thoughts in his head, good and, not so good, or neutral. But I really don't think that he was nervous. That he was uncomfortable with that. I think he embraces it. He may have been, if it was probably years ago, before, like, let's say if it was a few years after Selena had passed, he may have felt uncomfortable then. But I think as the years went on, he's gotten an amusement of it. He's gotten accustomed to it. He also feels some type of love and appreciation of it. So I think that he was more appreciative than uncomfortable, in my opinion. But yeah, so it was great for him to meet one of the Selena personators. Now, I don't know if he's aware that she reenacted the death scene. I don't know, because I don't even know if he even knew of her prior to meeting her. Yeah, I don't think I don't know if he's aware of it. If he was, I would say he really did a great job censoring how he felt about that, because I personally would had an attitude with, or not even want to meet somebody that reenacted something really horrible that happened to somebody that I love very dearly. I would not want to meet that person. I would be very uncomfortable and I would be very upset. So I don't think he's aware that she did that. I mean, I don't know. But I'm sure he has heard and came across, Selena impersonators doing, reenacting horrific things that happened to her, and he probably just brushes it off, and then not in a way like I don't care, but brush it off like I'm not seeping into that negativity. I'm not engaging myself with that. I'm not going to give it any energy. So yeah, I think that would probably be his initial response or reenaction. So that's all I had about that. Now, I did watch the interview that he did with, I forgot his name, but he looks a lot like ABCDFG, just a little heavier. But he did a recent interview and he briefly talked about Selena, but he talked more about Chris, endeavors, like what he has been up to in regards to his musical career, family life, being a father. And he addressed some things that, I've talked about in some videos in the past, in reference to, his relationships. And it is true that he stated that, yes, he had, those 3 relationships, which I believe he's referring to Selena, his second wife, and MJ Songstress. And, he briefly talked about, maybe he gotten backlash because he remarried and had kids, and then he had a new relationship at that time, a serious relationship at that time. But he said that doesn't mean that I love Selena less. It's just that I love everybody different. And so that is true. I mean, that doesn't mean that he loves Selena any less. It just means that he loved Selena and his love is different. Chris and his second wife love is different. Chris and MJ Songstress love was different. It's just different. But it doesn't conflict with how he feel about anybody else that he has been with in his life. So it is a great thing that he brought that up, because it clarifies some things, that I may have talked about in the past, and just clarify some things with some fans that may feel like he betrayed Selena in some way, or he doesn't love Selena if he's, moved on and all that. People are entitled to move on. What do you expect for him to just be single for the rest of his life? I know it hurts to see him with other people when we was rooting for them and that they was supposed to have this life together, but it was cut short. I mean, we all are at fault for feeling that way, and we are entitled to feel that way, but in reality, he is entitled to be with someone if he chooses to be with somebody, because Selena is not physically here. Now, in the afterlife, we don't know. They may be reunited. We don't know. But right now, in reality, in the physical world, she's not here anymore. And we just have to come to terms with it, unfortunately. But, we all wish that things happened differently. We all wish that she was here. We all wish that. I don't know how many times I have to say that. Like, I feel like she was supposed to be here. Like, there was no reason why she was gone. There was no reason. All of that could have been avoided had, the right people had been in her corner, but they wasn't. Regardless, I don't care if it was family or not. They weren't in their corner because they did not keep an eye on the right person. They constantly was eyeing what Chris and Selena was doing instead of eyeing what Yolanda was doing. But that's my opinion. I mean, that's all I can say. That's my opinion. But it's a lengthy interview, but it was good to watch. I watched it from beginning to end. He also talked about his ventures with George Lopez, who, if you don't know who George Lopez is, he is a Hispanic comedian. He had his own sitcom, which I recently watched. I mean, I watched it when it first came out, but it's also on Peacock, so I watched it from all 6 seasons, and I just love it. It was funny. I like it, and I'll watch it again. And he also has a new sitcom called Lopez versus Lopez, which features his real life daughter. And he also had a talk show back in, the early 2000s, I believe, or the mid 2000s for a couple of years. A late night talk show. So, I mean, he's doing well. So I didn't know he was into music, George Lopez, but apparently he talked about how they linked up and how he was introduced to him, and that I think allegedly George Lopez is the best friend of one of Chris Perez's idols. I don't remember his name. He was a rock star. He passed away. I think it's not Mick Jagger. I think what is his name? I don't know his name. Is it Ed? Comment below who it is. But it's like it's at the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember who it was. But I know that Valerie, I don't know her last name, but it's an actress named Valerie something. She was married to him. She was this big 70s, 80s actress. Her last name started with an M. I think it was like an Italian last name. But she was married to him at one point. What is his name? I want to say it's Eddie something or Ed. I don't know. Van something. I don't know. Van Halen? Is it Van Halen? I don't think it was him. But he was this huge rock star in the 70s, 80s. And apparently, allegedly, George Lopez was best friends with him. And he had one of his guitars. And Chris Perez, when he met up with him, he said, "Oh, man, is that what I think it is?" And he said, "Yeah." And he told him he was his best friend. And then he let him... he said he let Chris Perez play on the guitar. He said that was like a mind-blowing moment, and they are doing music together. And also he's working on some music with his band, Chris Perez project or Chris Perez band. And he also said that he wouldn't mind linking back up with the Los Dinos and do some music with them, but he hasn't heard from ABCDFG. He's, I guess, being, I don't know, MIA. But he would definitely be up to, making new music with them. And I think that they should, especially do some Selena tributes, or even remix some songs that they did with her when she was living. I think that would be cool if they all, got back together and did, remade some of the music that they did with her and twisted with some music of today. And I think it would do really well. And feature some mainstream artists that love Selena, like maybe Drake or Christina, I don't know, J-Lo or Christina Milian, or because Christina Milian had mentioned she loved Selena. She also posted, I think she also posed a picture with Chris Perez. back in the day. So, just certain artists that, mainstream artists, have them feature on some of the songs, like rap on the song, like Como La Flor or any song, and I think it would really do well for them and really get them out there. He also talked about Suzette and that she is a first-time grandmother, and that them two are on good terms. She always sends him pictures of her granddaughter, and they mend their relationship, which is a good thing, and I'm glad. I have no ill feelings about that. I'm all about healing. I will say my opinion and my feelings towards the dictator is something different. I just don't. He rubs me the wrong way. But he is on good terms. Allegedly, he's on good terms with him as well. And he is on good terms with ABCDFG. He just hasn't heard from him. And apparently the interviewer has said that he blocked him for whatever reason. I think it was based on a previous interview that they did together, and it may have been something he did not like that he said. I don't know, but who knows? That's the thing that ABCDFG does. He blocks people. That's his thing. And I mean, I get it sometimes. I block people. I mean, it happens. I don't know. But I block people for valid reasons. I don't block people because I don't like what they say. I block people for harassment reasons and things like that. But I'm not going to block somebody because they say something that they didn't agree with what I said. And as long as they're not being disrespectful, I don't care. But overall, the interview was really good. If you know what interview I'm talking about, check it out. I'll send like a picture of it in the video, so you can get an idea where to look for it. It's on YouTube. I also watched the first interview they did together, and I believe the interviewer, replied to my video, because I think I have a comment on it. I highlighted comment from him or from his crew. But, it's overall, I'm glad that he's mending his relationship with the Kadenia family. He expressed that he loves them. He always loved them, regardless of their, issues in the past. He's always loved them. And, I mean, there's nothing more I can say about that. Yeah, so that's all I have about the Chris Perez update. If I find out, or if I, choose to address anything else, I will get back with you with another video. Stay safe out there, and, enjoy the nice weather. If you are in an area where the weather is pretty nice, enjoy it, because this is unusual weather. It's February. It's supposed to be the coldest month of the year. But, I must, enjoy it. I'm sorry if you hear snoring. That's my son snoring. He's very congested. And so am I. Because of this weather, it just goes back and forth. 1 minute is cold. 1 minute is neutral. Next minute is warm. And we get caught up in it. So, yeah. But I hope everybody had a great day and a remainder of the great week and a great weekend. And I'll see you. Peace.